Not enough people are talking about the fact that if you want to put a math input on the web where people can type fractions or square roots or whatever, it's like not a good scene of options, and I think we can do better. Currently, if you go to a website like Desmos or Khan Academy, where you're expected to type math into the website, they are using a JavaScript library called MathQuill. So everybody uses MathQuill. Desmos has their own version that they modified a little bit, but this is like the one that everyone uses. Because you can't just do like input type equals math directly in HTML. It's not a thing. MathQuill has a good user experience. The design is really nice. It looks good. It feels good. I haven't investigated a ton, but my understanding is it's accessible with screen readers and all that. However, the developer experience is not good. It leaves a lot to be desired. One thing is it's just very outdated. Being old is not inherently bad, but it doesn't fit very well with the current NPM ecosystem. I think it's giving like 2012 vibes. It's based on jQuery, so you have to have jQuery loaded and attached to the window. If you try to install with NPM, you can do it, but it's just like an ugly, gross process. Um, the TypeScript support is like limited and just not great. Um, so all of that is a downside, but I think even more important, it is very limited in what you can customize. You pretty much just get a math input and you can take it or leave it. There are some settings that you can tweak, but you can't, for example, add your own plugins or define your own custom behavior. You sort of get what you get. So there are a few alternatives to MathQuill out there currently. One big one is that Desmos actually took MathQuill, and because it had problems, they forked it and made their own version. It is available on GitHub. It adds some specific features, so if you need those certain features, that helps, but it's still not customizable with plugins the way that I would want it to be. And it's really not meant for other people to use. It's really an internal Desmos thing that they happen to put out there in case you want to try. The most success I've had with using it is with people on the internet literally sending me like a zip file of the built and compiled version of the code that's out there, but like someone else had to do it, and it's like this crazy deal where someone just hands it off to you, and it's like this is not what the state of the art should be. Another one that's out there is MathLive. This is the newest major contender. This person who made this has done a lot of great work. I think they've done a really good job. I do think the design and the user experience still has a bunch of paper cuts that MathQuill doesn't have that could be improved. It also is still just limited to like certain customizations. So they just give you a math input and you get what you get. And you can customize it some, but it's not a plugin based thing. It also has a very wide scope. Like it's trying to do absolutely everything. And I feel like that means that it's impossible for this one person building it to perfect everything. And so it ends up with a lot of rough edges. So I'm not happy with any of these. All the existing ones, like MathQuill and the alternatives, are trying to build the perfect math input, but I think there's precedent out there for something better, which is instead of trying to just build a math input, we can build a framework that allows people like Desmos or Khan Academy or any of us who want to make math tools to use that framework to design a totally custom math input. And this is where that plugin-based architecture, I think, really comes in. So to give you some precedent and give you some examples, I've got sort of three kinds of text editing. The first is plain text editing, which is most often used for code. Here are some examples of libraries that let you create code editors on the web. CodeMirror, super popular. CodeMirror 6 came out recently-ish, and it's very good. Monaco is basically VS Code, just the text editor part. And then Ace is a much older one, sort of from the same time period as MathQuill, where I don't know if it relies on jQuery or not, but it's certainly from that era. Then there's rich text editing. So instead of like plain text code, it's bold, italics, underline, headers, all those things. There are a whole bunch of options here. Slate is a good one. ProseMirror is from the same person who made CodeMirror, but it's for rich text. And then Draft.js and Quill and a whole bunch of others. There's a lot of options there. And then what I'm calling symbolic tree editing, but basically I just mean like math inputs. We just talked about what those options are. Now, if we look at the sort of plugin-ness, as far as code editors go, CodeMirror is awesome. CodeMirror is totally based on this plugin architecture where you can customize everything. It's these modular sort of building blocks that you can assemble together. And so you can pick exactly which features you want. Do you want syntax highlighting? Do you want autocomplete? Do you want, a column with line numbers over here? Do you not want that? All the features are just like these blocks that you sort of click together like Legos. And it makes it a very customizable thing where if I'm building my own website that involves code editing and I want to do something a little bit custom, CodeMirror is the way to go. On the other hand, Monaco is much more just like we took VS Code and we ripped it out and we made it a package. And if you're trying to make a full-featured IDE that's basically a VS Code clone, you can use Monaco to do it. But if you're trying to build anything else, it's not really going to work for you. It's also a total nightmare to set up and try to use. And then Ace, again, very old. You can customize it some, but to my knowledge, it's not sort of that plugin architecture like CodeMirror is. The state of things in rich text editing is very good. There's lots of options that are super modular. You can plug and play, you can customize. And so if you want to build a super custom rich text editor with your own custom features that are sort of native to your application, you can do that. There's lots of options out there for you. In the math world, none of them do this, right? All of them are just, you get what you get with a little customization. And I think that leaves an opportunity to do things differently. And that's why I'm calling it symbolic tree editing, by the way. Math is the main use case that I'm thinking about right now. But really, the reason that math is different than other things is it's like plain text editing, but you have these text nodes, like a fraction, for example, that need to sort of be an inline node of their own, but also contain other inline nodes. And that's sort of different than plain text code editing, where it's just a string of characters. And it's different than rich text editing, where it's a string of characters, but annotated with fonts or other things. It really requires that your text be in a tree shape, but I think we can make something that's a generic sort of modular tool for building these tree-shaped editors that probably will work really well for math, but could be customized to serve other purposes as well. So here's the opportunity. Let's make a MathQuill alternative that solves these problems. Let's make it modular, make it be sort of a plug-in framework where you can create your own blocks and build things the way you want. Allow developers to define their own types of nodes and customize absolutely everything, not configuration-based. And let's go beyond just math. Math will probably be the main use case, but let's not rely on LaTeX as a standard. Do include it as an option, for sure, but go beyond just math. As far as modern JavaScript tooling goes, basically don't be MathQuill from a long time ago. Support easy integrations with all your frameworks, so React, Svelte, Vue, whatever you're using, plain web components, or even just vanilla JS. And first-class TypeScript support. None of this should be revolutionary, but it is. I really think there's an opportunity here to do something better. I am trying. I've built some prototypes that I will share in a future video. I'd love to get input from other people on if this is something that would be useful to you. But I just kind of wanted to share. I think there's an opportunity here. I think we can do better than the status quo. And as silly as it is that this is just a small little problem to solve, the current not good solution, like MathQuill, is literally being used like on the SAT, right? Like it's this huge problem with no good solution because nobody has taken the time to make a better one. So I think we can do better, and I think we should, and I'm going to try.